What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of AJ Porter Golf. What's the difference? We can review. This week we had Christian Heavens on. Another great episode, another great guest. I'm really enjoying this series. I hope you guys are. Wanted to get into real quick what the mission of What's the Difference is. So we are looking to establish a list, parameters, if you will, for what the difference makers are in the world of professional golf, high-level amateur golf, and even, your 15 handicap looking to get down to 5, what those difference makers are, and be able to quantify that into a list. So weeks 1 and 2, we had Ryan Sullivan and Scott Fawcett from Decade Golf. After those 2 weeks, we have kind of narrowed it down to a few things. Number 1 is 180 ball speed. Number 2 is you must be an excellent lag putter. Number 3 is you must meditate / get into a little bit of self-belief and just having an understanding of your game. And then step number 4 is timing. Was one of the big ones that Ryan had kind of talked about. Christian Heavens was our guest this week. He actually seconded what Ryan had said in terms of timing and brought up some different points as well, that you actually need to have what's called kind of scar tissue a lot of times. That scar tissue can kind of serve as something that propels you and is something that you shouldn't be scared of. He was a little on the fence with the 180. He said for kids and juniors that are coming up, it's not super important, but definitely is important for kids that are coming up. He thinks, maybe 170 is kind of that threshold right now. He definitely agreed on lag putting. I think we can probably go ahead and lock lag putting in to one of the items on the list. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that one. We got a lot into the mental side of things, and I don't want to get too deep into it without you all listening to the episode, but we talked a lot about the mental side of things and really how to practice like a professional, and the things that he addressed I thought were really important. For myself personally, I can definitely struggle a little bit with knowing how to practice effectively. We got into that a little bit, and then we also got into just having an understanding of learning your game, right, and knowing what works and what doesn't. I think that's what Ryan Sullivan does very well, and we mentioned that in the last recap. So definitely, a really interesting video. One of the things that I also really liked about this is Christian doesn't have a traditional path to where he is, yet he's made so much of where he comes from, which I think is just really cool. He talked on the podcast about golf slaps. Golf slaps is something, his philanthropy effort with other professional golfers, where he goes into minority communities and basically introduces kids to golf, which I think is awesome because, as he mentioned, a lot of times those kids wouldn't otherwise have access to to golf, and they're lighting it up. And he actually gave a story about when Tiger Woods came into town and played Forest Park, and Christian got to spend the day with him, the impact that had and how that changed, his golfing career. So yes, we're here about learning, golfers that are in the grind right now, but I also want to really also, tailor this show to junior golfers who are up and coming. So ultimately, in recap, the 180 ball speed, I'd say on the list is it's up there, but it's kind of seeming like 170 is sort of the minimum. Lag putting, go ahead and lock that in. Mental is one that I'm finding is growing veins. And getting a little bit deeper. We can probably encompass it with yes, you have to have an excellent mental game, but I'm finding with these guests that we've been speaking with, the mental game is growing. Like meditation is one part of it. There's also a side of it that's this manifestation that Christian and I talked about in this video, and John Fogarty, friend of mine, tried to get me to get into manifestation for forever, and I finally have this year, and I'm starting to see some pretty drastic differences in my game. And then the other part of it, mental side, is just having autonomy and understanding and ultimately confidence over what you're doing. And I think that's something like what Ryan Sullivan brings to the table with his game. If you missed that conversation, definitely go back and check that one out. It was really interesting. So list is growing. I'm probably going to go ahead and post the list up on Instagram, and we'll do a weekly total for, on the left hand side where the running list is, and then on the right hand side, what the guest agreed with, disagreed with, maybe what we added. So let me know what you guys are thinking about these week in reviews, and if you enjoy this sort of format that wraps it up for everybody. Another great video. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I'm loving this series. I'm really enjoying getting to speak with all these guests. It's just an honor for me to be able to talk with all these people. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Leave a comment down below if you're liking it. Let me know what you think, and see you next Monday.